Hello everyone, my name is Gregan, and the big news, I'm now head coach for DarkZero Rocket League.
I actually just ordered lunch and skipped breakfast, so no breakfast for me. Hey there, my name is Gregan and I'm head coach for Rocket League at DarkZero. For our roster that we built this year, we've got a really interesting composition with one of the most experienced players in Turbo, a zombie who's kind of been around the block, been in that top 16 quite a lot, and a completely fresh talent in Creams. So that mixture, we're going to try and push them into that top 16 and hopefully by the end of the year, really pushing the top 8 and competing with the best in North America. One of the challenges in Rocket League is a lot of players haven't experienced a full structure before where they are pushed and developed in a way that makes them better, faster. And I think really at DarkZero, they've had success in other esports, and with my help and with the support of the org, we're going to be able to develop talent into top Rocket League talent in North America. For Rocket League, I've done a bit of everything. I played a little bit at the start, then became a commentator. I've been very fortunate to coach some top teams, including Vitality, who I took to World Championship, and unfortunately lost to Turbo Pulsar in the finals of the next one. I also helped develop the guild roster and helped a lot of teams behind the scenes. There's about 3 or 4 that the public just don't even know about, where I've tried to develop the structure for those teams behind the scenes. Rocket League is one of the most exciting esports out there because at any moment it can switch and any team can win just because of how fast-paced it is. Especially 0 seconds. If you haven't seen a 0-second goal in a high-pressure match before, you've got to check out some of the greatest moments in Rocket League because it is honestly the most adrenaline-inducing moment in esports I've ever seen.
Justin keeps it alive. Turbo Pulsar there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin is there for the shot. This is Rocket League!
I'm really excited to work with DarkZero because I just see the passion and drive behind the org that wants to make their teams win, and I can't wait to come in and help support them do that in Rocket League. Yeah, cardio is awful now. Pizza doesn't do cardio any good, but I can still lift a lot, so that's good.
I kind of teased that I might be joining them with the tweet that I made a little while ago where I asked about which kind of achievement was greater. I was flip-flopping between a few teams and this one was the most exciting project for me, which brings me on to the Q&A which I asked for you guys to ask about. And the first question, which was from Slumpy here, why DarkZero? Well, I came in as a coaching consultant to try and support the team and develop the roster out, select the team, find a coach for them, develop the structure and so on. And as I was getting to know the players, I was really enjoying the project, so I decided to take it on myself, and that's why I'm here now as head coach. Any potential in the players from Visionary 1? Well, I see a lot of similarities with this team to the guild roster. We've got a veteran in Turbo, similar to Devo back on Guild. We've got a very mechanical player in the sense of Creams, similar to Nolly. And then we've got a fast-paced, aggressive player who's been around the block, which is Zombie comparing to Tho. And I feel like I can combine the 3 players together, push them to the top, and it will take a little bit of time, but I think we'll get there. Speaking of which, many of you asked, what are the goals for the team? Well, I like to split it into short, mid, and long-term goals. Short term, try and get into the regionals consistently. Creams has never been in a regional before, which I think is crazy considering how good he is. Get into those regionals consistently. Spring split, look to see if we can get into that 3rd regional through strong performances in the 1st and the 2nd. And then by the end of next season, be a team that's competing for Worlds. And this is going to take a bit of time, but through some iterations and my coaching and so on, I feel like we can get there within a season and a half. Now, Dylan asked, what happens if I get offered to go back to the desk, even though I'm coaching now? Would I give up coaching? Well, I don't think I would. I think I'm going to stick with DarkZero for this period of time and stick with coaching, because coaching for me is really where my passion is. When I was casting, I didn't feel that sort of nerves and anxiety that you get when you do something you're really passionate about. Whereas as a coach, I'm feeling that. Like right now, there's Open Qualifier Day 2 this evening, and I'm feeling excited for it, which is something I never really used to get from casting. And also, I can still do casting on the side. You know, I'll do Pokemon casting. I'll do some events maybe here and there, maybe something like Gamers 8 if that comes back. If DarkZero don't make it, maybe I'll go along to that. And ultimately, Sonic can still get me along to a major if I'm available, if my team doesn't make it. Similar to how CJ did when he was on Renegades. So Karma wants to know what Creams is like to work with. Well, Creams is a delight. What a lovely young man he is. But sometimes he can be a little bit goofy, which I think is perfect for the team. He's good fun to have around. I see a lot of potential in him, especially as he starts to develop. Are you going to be making any content with the team? Asks SunnyBreez, who happens to be my editor. Everyone send some love in the chat for SunnyBreez. Well, actually, we're going to be releasing weekly videos of us doing our funniest moments, our best goals from scrims, maybe some challenges with the team, and loads of funny moments in shorts. SunnyBreez is going to be continuing to edit them. Less of the analysis content now on YouTube, because obviously that's giving away some of my secrets, things that I look out for in gameplay, and might help other teams out, but we will be continuing to make content here on YouTube. When did you start? Asks JJ. Well, I've been doing this since I was coaching consulting for them, which was just before before Christmas. I was planning to leave the project on 31st of January and let them go on their merry way with a new coach. But around halfway through January, I was starting to think, actually, do you know what? I really want to do this myself. And so I sent DarkZero an offer and said, this is how much it would cost. You know, if you could afford that, then I'm down to do this. And because of the fact that they're looking after me so well, it's a really exciting project. I really align with DarkZero's values. I love the team. I think this is the perfect project for me. So I've been doing it essentially since before Christmas, but officially as of February 1st. How's the team's mental? Asks Spooky. Now, Spooky, this is an interesting one because we don't currently have a performance psychologist working directly with the team, but I have been trained in some performance psychology and I'm a user of the chimp model. So I've been trying to implement that with the team and we've been definitely improving our mindset. I think performance psychology is something every team should be working on and every coach should be working with their team on. Every player should be trying to self-improve on. And I think we're really getting places with it. And I think in particular, performing under pressure in Rocket League is one of the hardest things to do. So having that performance psychology aspect is definitely something I'm trying to implement as much as possible. What happened to finding another coach? Asks Umar. We tried out several coaches and they were all great and I hope they all find a place soon. Ultimately, I enjoyed the project enough that I said, I'm putting myself in there. If you want me, you can have me, and DarkZero chose me. So I've made it. I chose me as well because I was the coaching consultant who came in and told them which coach to get and now I'm here. What has Sean already made you do at DarkZero? Asks Justin. Well, Sean is amazing. Another reason why I wanted to stick around is because our manager, Sean, is so good at organizing things. He gets every replay and ball chasing for us. Our spreadsheets look incredible. He does daily reminders. He organizes. Honestly, without Sean, I don't think I would have stayed with DarkZero. He's so good. And realistically, I'm making him do a lot of stuff. So, Sean, keep it up. We got a interesting from Pigeons. Now, Killer Pigeon asked, does lunch become breakfast if you skip breakfast? Well, this is actually an interesting question because now that I'm working for a North American team, I'm working late into the evening. Like for the closed qualifier in the last event, I was up until 3 a.m. working. So I am waking up a lot later than I would like to. It means I'm waking up past 11, sometimes even past midday. And so consequently, my first meal is around lunchtime. And I call it breakfast and sometimes call it lunch. It just depends on what I eat. I feel like it's more the composition of the food that decides whether it's breakfast or lunch for me, rather than the timing. Also, Killer Pigeon is going to be the next guest on the podcast. So if you haven't checked out my podcast, link is in the description. Killer Pigeon was a great guest. The lovely Kim, esports mum, said they're lucky to have me. Very biased because we always got on very well at events. MQS asked, am I being held at my wheel? Blink once. Oh no, I've blinked now. What do? Do I just blink loads to make up for the fact that I've blinked? What does this mean? Orb has said, excited for you, my friend. I appreciate you, Orb. Then the last question, which I think is a really interesting one, comes from MDog, who's got some interesting methodologies himself, I believe, using like charts with like shapes and stuff. I've had a look at some of the content and asked what my methodologies are and in terms of short-term, long-term, all that kind of stuff. Well, right now I'm kind of splitting my coaching into 3 main avenues. Performance psychology, which I mentioned before, around the chimp model, individual composition and how they get better as individuals. So that kind of comes down to my 7 pillars of option coverage, which I've created a video on. You can check that one out. And I'm really focusing around how they can improve individually, which they found useful. And the last one is around the team strategy, how we play as a team. I think that's been the most effective for the team, but obviously they need all 3 of them there together. And then there's the side which I like to think of as like a personal trainer side of coaching, which is the motivation side, the language you use, the way you coach your team to try and encourage working harder, making sure you go that extra bit, and that's sort of just coming through in general through the team dynamic. You know, the hours from these players is amazing, which is great, and that's exactly what you need from a team that wants to progress and improve. We've got over 100 hours with both Zombie and Creams, and then I think Turbo's up to about 80 hours right now. And so yeah, the quality of the hours you mentioned as well in your question. So the quality, I really focus around every aspect of Rocket League that they play, playing it with the mindset that we encourage. You know, don't just go into ranked to mindlessly play. Don't just go into free play and mindlessly hit the ball around. There is a little bit of mindless mechanics training, a little bit of mindless ranked time, which happens in every case, but I don't want scrims to be the only place you go and focus. I need it to be every part of Rocket League. You look at some of the best players in the world, every single game mode, every single time they play, they are playing at the highest level. They don't just go in ranked and piss about, you know, they take everything seriously. So that's my methodologies there. I don't want to go into too much more detail than that without revealing everything, but we've got some pretty solid methodologies, I'd say. I think that's pretty much it from all the questions on Twitter. I know you guys have probably got some more questions, so feel free to comment them down below and I'll answer by text. Ultimately, you guys are going to get to know the DarkZero roster through the content, and hopefully you're excited to see the progression of DarkZero in 2023.